Okay, we're ready, and we are back on the record.
Okay.
Sir,
Thank you very
I'm sorry.
Sorry
I
for
thought
the
you
inconvenience.
I know my big speech got interrupted by a tape, so.
by the commercial.
A commercial. I don't know. I really haven't had any time to really study this case. But from what I heard tonight, I can see the residents are very upset with what's going on. I'm upset too. I don't want to see the tranquility of Nesconset change anymore. It's changed too much. And I hope you guys can do something for us. But maybe if they want the covenants changed, maybe, I don't know if this could even be positive. Go back to the original request. Maybe delete the zoning changes. Maybe put it back to what it's normal.
I, for one, would like to get the town attorney nailed down as to what exactly were the applicants entitled to. Are these additional units part of the 192, or are they in addition to? So I think at this point, when we're done with the public comment, I'm going to make a request that we table or adjourn this for 2 weeks until the next meeting. So that could be clarified, and we could perhaps get you some information on what traffic studies, not only the town, but the county's doing on that County Road 16.
Right, I mean, it will impact tremendously. I want to thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your input.
And whatever help you can give the residents, I really hope that you guys would do the right thing. Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Andrew Nielsen. I live at 18 Woodview Drive, which abuts the Storybook property.
Well, I couldn't hear your address, please.
18 Woodview Drive,
Thank you.
Nesconset. We received no notice about any of the changes that they were looking for in the covenants, and I'm understanding that the law that the state has about workforce housing was for applications that were put in after 2008. This was applied for back in 1995.
Again, that's what we're going to.
7.
That's what we're going to wait word on from the.
Well, another
town
thing I'd
attorney.
like to know is, how does a retirement community have to have workforce housing? It's for retirement, no?
Well, I think Mr. Flynn has stated that he has solicited an opinion from the town attorney as to whether that 2008 act applies to this project. So we don't have that opinion yet. And when we have that opinion, then maybe your question will be able to be answered.
Okay, thank you.
Scott Malone, 15 Rolling Hills Drive. I was here 25 years ago with all my neighbors. We vehemently opposed this project, and when we got the approval for 192, we weren't happy, but we accepted it. My big thing now is you're talking about increasing possibly the density of this project. The problem I see is that you have seniors. Some of them will be mobile. At 55, they're going to be driving. What happens to somebody who's 65, 70? They can't drive. They can't walk to a supermarket. There is no supermarket. You can't expect them to go to a handy pantry where the price of groceries is too high. If you look and you read the paper, A&P, Wall-Bombs, Pathmark have all closed. There is something called Palmanock Village in Greenlawn. There was a Wall-Bombs right next to it, walking distance to both of them. Guess what? It's now going to be a high-end supermarket. People on fixed incomes can't afford to. There is no bus service on Gibbs Pond Road. There is no bus service on Nichols Road. They have to walk to Smithtown Boulevard. There are not sidewalks on Gibbs Pond Road. There are no sidewalks on Old Nichols Road. There are sidewalks on Smithtown Boulevard. What does the planning board plan to do to protect these people? It's dangerous to walk on Gibbs Pond Road. It's dangerous to walk on Old Nichols Road. There are traffic accidents. The traffic is becoming horrendous. On Rolling Hills Drive, when we all moved in, we were all young, maybe 2 cars per house. Now look at it, 25 years later. I have 5 cars. I have 2 children that drive. We all have children that drive. The increase has increased. There have been numerous accidents, pedestrian accidents on Old Nichols and Gibbs Pond Road. I'd like to know how you plan on solving that problem 25 years later. That's all I have to say, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anne Marie Medaglia, and I live at 375 Gibbs Pond Road. And the reason why I'm up here is I want to let you know that it takes me 3 to 4 minutes during rush hour to pull out of my driveway. and even pulling in when I have to get in, I have to sit there and wait. The traffic is so bad. It takes 3 to 4 minutes. I can't even imagine 192 apartments being built and how long it will take me to pull out of my driveway. And I think about ambulances that need to come down Gibbs Pond with all that traffic. It just is, the thought is just insane. I never expected that much traffic, and it changed all when they moved, the 7-Eleven came, and that traffic just got worse. But I can't even imagine what it would be like with 192 apartments. Please, think about when you can pull out of your driveway, if it takes you 3 to 4 minutes. And that's what I really like you to think about.
Daniel Falasco, 94 Steuben Boulevard. I think it is very critical that the attorney weigh in on this, especially in light of covenant restriction number 9, which gives people some power as part of that covenant and restriction. The other thing, it seems like we don't know what's coming first, the chicken or the egg. Here we have a situation where the CNRs need to be lifted to add 28 units, but the covenant specifically says 192. So it's very
Yes,
critical.
I'd like to see that nailed down one way or the
I
other.
think that's a very critical thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is under the CEQA law, I would like to think that if there is any review of this project, you do have to go back to what existed prior to the change of the zoning, because that's what the original CEQA was. And one must say to themselves, would the town approve 192 units today? Would they approve, or would they approve 150? And guess what? 150 plus 10% gets you to 165, so maybe he only has to build 165. So it is very critical for SECRA. And the reason for that is you can't turn around on the SECRA and say, I already took care of this, now I only want to take care of this. That is very, very important for that. So I think you do have to go back in time to review the SECRA law. I commend all my neighbors. I think everything tonight was excellent and well-spoken, and I hope that you listen to every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dennis LaScala. I live at 15 Heritage Place South in Wisconsin. And I also want to commend my neighbors and congratulate everything that they've done and said and brought up on the board. I've been in front of various boards with Wisconsin issues, and every time the meeting had started, they said, well, with the hamlet of Wisconsin and almost anywhere else in the township of Smithtown, it is for the best interest of the hamlet, the town, the residents. And the residents is the most important factor here. Traffic is unbearable. It even goes down to Smithtown Boulevard, to Southern Boulevard. It's been rehashed time and time again. One thing that I want to bring out, it was funny how the applicant was really addressing the public. It seemed like a public forum instead of the board, trying to negotiate what they're doing and not doing. And I thought that was very interesting coming in here. As you see, I'm dressed, I'm sorry, I just rushed back from vacation. Okay, it's very interesting on a vacation week that this is being done, but also realize I'm sure there's many more residents that would like to be here but can't because of the obligations to their family and when they're going on vacation. The Common Core math is kind of like blowing me out of my mind, where we don't know information, where we're going back for information from 2008. But that's me. I'm just surprised that we don't know that information if we had the best interest of our town in hand. One thing I really want to come out with is the fact that, maybe I misheard it, but I don't think I did. The applicant stood here and said that, well, the project on Lake Avenue, we weren't going to do apartments. We weren't going to do that. That was a misnomer. I was wondering if the same person was here 2 years ago, where it was almost double the size, where they were going to be putting affordable housing apartments on Lake Avenue and all the issues. We can do traffic studies now until the dawn of time, and the issue is, where are we going to build? Where are we going to expand the roadways? You can't do it on Lake Avenue. It can't be done on Nichols Road. It can't be done on Gibbs. It can't be done on Smithtown Boulevard. Okay? So it's amazing to me that this is going to happen. Traffic study is important to me. I lost a good friend, an unborn child, on the corner of Good Pond Road and Nichols Road. This is back in 2001. I'm not trying to bring out the bleeding heart scenario, but I'm bringing out reality, something that has happened. And this is what we have to be more aggressive as a town doing. We gotta understand what we're doing first. Planning has been horrendous. I've been a lifelong, I lived in Smithtown all my life, the township of Smithtown, Comac, now in Wisconsin since 1999. And it's just amazing that we just don't have a grasp on our planning and what's going forward. So the covenants and so forth, it is beyond me. But I just want to congratulate every one of my neighbors to bring that issue up. And I hope the town does keep the best interests in mind of the hamlet of Wisconsin. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Mr. Tantone?
Anyone else?
Appears not to be the case.
Given the hour, I will be brief. I just want to touch on a couple points and address a couple things. I, too, want to thank everybody for the level of civility that we had in the room tonight. We can all come here as reasonable people and disagree with each other, and hopefully that discourse leads to a solution that everybody can live
That's
with.
because you're in Smithtown.
What's that supposed to mean? I have had the pleasure of doing many of these hearings, and as some of you may have known, I've chaired many of these meetings over in the town of Islip. So thank you. On behalf of the applicant and myself, the level of civility in the discussion is valuable. The client certainly wants to hear your concerns. I want to just address a couple of things, just so there are no misconceptions, and perhaps I didn't make my points well enough. We are accepting of 192 units. I think that was kind of the first thing I tried to get up and say tonight. The application was publicized and the hearing notices were sent out, and you were led to believe that we were coming in asking for 36 bonus units. We are not asking for 36 bonus units. We have decided that we heard you, okay? I think what you heard from all of us tonight, and there are some, I'm assuming some lawyers or some pretty good kind of lawyers in the audience, this workforce housing law has to be interpreted in a certain way. If it is interpreted that those additional units are on top of the 192, that's a state law that neither the applicant nor the town of Smithtown has any control over. I heard a comment also, well, take the 19 out of his hide. It's a little bit incongruous, if you will, to say that you think it's unfair that he should get the 19 on top of the 192, but you think it's fair that the 19 should come out of his end. That's a little unfair.
Yeah, why not? So you're being forced to increase densities?
Somewhat, yes. I know you don't want to know that. I know you don't want to know that, and we don't make the
Mr.
regulations.
Tantone, you could address your remarks to
We
the
don't,
board.
yes, and we don't make the regulations in the state of New York. The other thing I want to be very clear about is there is absolutely no desire, nor has anyone attempted to revoke or take these covenants out. One of the changes is as simple as reading, instead of it reading being in accordance with R15 single-family dwelling, it should just say being in accordance with R15. And you may think there are nefarious purposes to that, and I will address the board, but as the board knows, there are several other uses in an R15 zone that are not necessarily single-family homes. And I think the point I made earlier and the example I gave earlier was a church. R15, and I encourage everyone to look at it, is a very unobtrusive use. It is a very restrictive zoning classification, which most of us, look, I'm a homeowner too, find to be not that objectionable. So when I hear that there's this nefarious purpose and we're making this great change to the covenant is as simple as leaving out the word single-family dwelling, so that a church could go in, so that a school perhaps could go in. And I'm not saying that's what's going there. I'm just saying those are things that are included in the R15 zone. So I heard a lot of discourse about changing the covenants, and we just don't want them changed. But I didn't really hear any reason why they shouldn't be changed, other than they shouldn't be changed. And that's fine. That's for the board to discuss. One of the reasons that the sewage treatment plant, which I'd like to address briefly, the covenant dealing with that we'd like to do something with, is we would like to be able to hook all of the the single-family homes included on the 34-acre parcel, or whatever gets built there, into the sewage system. I think the Suffolk County Health Department will recognize that that is a better use of the sanitary waste that's going to come out of all of this development if the board chooses to grant it. The 34-acre parcel could be developed at an R15 single-family dwelling, which would result in, Mr. Flynn can probably correct me, but it's a minimum of probably 48 cesspools. 48 cesspools is not something I don't think that anybody in their right mind would want environmentally. The sewage treatment plant seems to make more sense, but then again, I'm not an engineer. That's just what I'd like to put out on the table. And then lastly, like I said, we appreciate everybody's comments. We appreciate the board's patience. No one likes to have change to their environment. We get that. The owners are good people who've been here for a long time. They intend to be in this town for a long time. They don't want to put out a product that's really going to make everybody's life miserable. You have a situation there where land is vacant, it's being used by trespassers in a very unacceptable way, and that, you know, hopefully will come to an end. And if it is developed, I can tell you that it will come to an end. But like I said lastly, I just wanted to clear up those last couple of things, that there is no drastic changes to these covenants. We're not trying to trick anybody. And again, I wanted to repeat how I wanted to thank everybody for their civility. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You
Yes.
gotta go to the,
Mr. Chairman, I'll stay around if you want to.
Yeah, would you please? 'Cause
Yes.
you gotta hear this. Very important. My name is Robert Soto. I live at 59 Jeremy Circle. I spoke before. When he set up house on 347 a number of years ago, that was a 2-lane road. Today, it's 2 lanes in either direction, and it's going to be 3 in either direction. If you can widen Smithtown Boulevard, and you can widen Gibbs Bond Road, somehow, it might be reasonable to put in 192 homes. You
needs
can't
a-
widen it. Live with the
Excuse me.
ambulances. that-
Sir,
Excuse me.
sir.
You gotta
Sorry,
speak to the
sorry,
board.
you're
You
right,
can direct the
sorry.
board.
We can't live with the ambulances that can't get down Smithtown Boulevard when a kid is sick in the Cleary School for the Deaf, which is right outside the entrance to this guy's development. We can't live with all the traffic that's on Gibbs Pond Road that goes all the way up to 347 sometimes. If he can improve traffic conditions, which he's going to make, and thank God it's great, a lot of money on this, he should give a little to the community and make the roads better.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hi, my name is Marina Siren, 465 Gibbs Pond Road, and Marina Siren. I have simple question. I barely new to this community. We moved in 2003, and our house on the Spectacle Lake. When we moved, and we barely knew, not so, a little bit younger than some people here. And we had kids, teenagers, and then grandkids. When we moved, the first problem that they start to talk about wide the road. The people here, I really respect and admire everybody who talk. English not my first language. I'm sorry if I said something not proper or like not correctly. But people said very clearly and bring their pain and share it with us. My question is, all these years we lived already in fear. I'm thinking about, I'm not talking about older generation who lived so many years and they fear because they can't move anywhere. The life is getting worse and worse because it's just condition. I don't want to repeat everything. My question is, like a family younger who is coming, afford live there, it's getting more and more difficult. Even move out, you can't even sell your house because in this condition, the traffic, I don't know, the value of houses will go down. Nobody want to live there anymore. With kids, it's people were saying, like from Gibbs Pond Road, in the morning, you can't get out. You have to have tricks to get in your driveway. With the kids, it's impossible. who will be living there? Like older generation who are not having decent, I don't even know, I don't know how to say, like how their life tremendously changing. What to do with the younger people who will live? Who will move there? It's just like a life, it's just for, I have a question. I just like, I'm sorry, but my question, I'm listening and try to understand. My first question is, life changing every year, like you can't even recognize what it was a couple years ago. We're talking about contract, what it was 25 years ago. Life changes. Why we can accept what it was accept and people agree so many years ago? Try to get this agreement now because it's completely different life. I don't understand how we can base on 25 years old contract. In my head, it's just like I can. My question to all of you, with all the respect, I understand it's a very hard job for everybody. I don't want to insult, but my question is, why we can't start from the beginning? I think that it's very decent, and people, older people who agree, new people who coming in our time, like after us, we just like, why we have to accept this? I think that it's not fair, and I really like asking everybody who in power, just look in this again and get all the new information, all the report, and talk about this again. I don't know if it's possible, but I want to scream. I don't know. I don't understand this meeting. I'm sorry, but something needs to be done. With all respect to everybody, and I really appreciate attention.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Gentlemen,
Just
let's
state
get-
your name again
oh,
for the record.
Fred Gorman. Gentlemen, Covenant 9 was struck by Sandy Scroy and people in this audience, including myself. We sat in a room and we made an agreement after years and years of Storybrick Meadows coming back. How are we going to stop this deal? She came up with a covenant. The covenant said, all, not some, all the adjoining properties have to agree to any change in these covenants. That is what that covenant clearly states. You're now breaking confidence and trust with those people. I don't know whether or not you can legally do that. There is some question about that. Gentleman over there is a lawyer. He'll be going a little further if that's what happens. But anyhow, this town made an agreement with the people in order to turn around and settle this entire thing. Let them have 192, that's all the sequest said, on land that was supposedly dry, which isn't. Whatever they tell you, it isn't, and everyone here knows it. All right? I'm saying, and now he says, Covenant 4, all I want to do is change a word. Well, let's see, we went from affordable housing density bonus to workforce bonus. That's a change of a word. Now he wants to change what's going to happen to the back. He wants to build a church. I'm sure that the people, we could make a whole bunch of churches back there. That would be absolutely wonderful. We could have one for every denomination. We could throw in a mosque. We can have, yeah, sure. But this is not what I think he has in mind. I have to tell you, why does he want to change it? Because you know the process. He's going to keep coming back and coming back and coming back, and this community is going to be filling the room, and you're going to be hearing the same story again and again and again. So I'm saying those covenants should remain in force.
Okay.
And you should not consider increasing density in a flood zone in the Ronkonkoma watershed, which affects the use of the park. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else wish to be heard on this application?
Will this hearing be held open so we could?
Yes, what I'm going to propose and move that we adjourn this hearing, that all the testimony we've heard tonight remains part of the record and can be continued over into the next hearing for 2 weeks. There's been Planning department, and I highly respect the planning department as trained professionals, and they're recommending that we adjourn this to undergo a CEQA, which could be a lengthy environmental process. And I would respectfully disagree with that. I would like, no,
We've withdrawn our application for the 32 bonus units at this point.
okay. I would like to hear from the town attorney, and had you let me finish my explanation here. I don't think we need the CEQA process, and if we were to adjourn it for that, this would be pushed off into who knows when, and we would be back here, maybe see you next year. I would like to adjourn this for 2 weeks so we can nail down the town attorney, find out exactly what's going to happen if we venture in and amend this. We could be opening up a whole can of worms regarding workforce housing, whereas right now, if we left it alone, maybe it is 192 and no more. I would like to find out from the town attorney, who I will be speaking with shortly. As far as the covenants go, I tend to think the covenants are a pretty good thing. Could they be tweaked a little bit here and there to make it things more amenable? Perhaps, but again, we open that door, what happens? Do we open the floodgate? So for that particular reason, I would like to adjourn this, and I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn this for 2 weeks. Sir, yes. Do you want to be heard again? Quickly, please.
Yes. Pete Vandalask again. Is the town attorney present here tonight?
No, we have our own counsel, but the planning department, their attorney is the town attorney.
Okay, would the town
board
attorney-
has their own counsel, and I will be speaking with him on that as well.
Would the town attorney be here at the next meeting?
No, but we will have a written opinion from the town attorney.
And would that written opinion be available to the public if we wanted to see
Yes.
it?
Everything's available
Be
to
part of the record.
Everything's
Part
part
of
of
the
the record.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the transcript for this evening, it's a lengthy meeting, may take a little bit longer than usual. That will be available on the town website. Take one of those agendas and you can go to that link, and you will not only see the videotape, you'll have the agenda, and as well as the transcripts of this meeting.
Okay.
And I urge everybody here who has an interest and would like to remain interested in the planning board and town activities, you go to that website and there's a whole wealth of information there.
All right, again, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
I can't guarantee that. The gentleman here is typing away furiously. I don't envy him.
You can watch it, you can go home and watch it tonight, right
Yeah,
on the
probably.
town's
The
website.
videotape will be ready. If you want to live
Yeah,
through
you
this
can watch
again,
it-
you can
go
watch the
right home
videotape.
tonight, you can watch it all day.
But just as that covenant that is in place now says,
Ma'am, you have to give your name, right?
Sue
Yes,
Ridley,
please.
Rolling Hills Drive. But just as that covenant that is in place now says, can you assure us that we're going to be notified, especially on Rolling Hills Drive and the surrounding areas, as the covenant says? I want to be notified because I haven't been, and the covenant already says that I should have been notified. I did get one notice. I didn't get a notice for the meeting prior to this. I want to make sure that I'm going to be getting those notifications because by law, I should have been getting them. And I want to make sure that all my neighbors are getting
According to
them.
that covenant, I don't know if that's by law or not.
You can call planning, the planning department
well, I
every day of
understand-
the week and find out what.
But
and
what
what's
about
the
everybody
latest
else on that
information.
road that, you know, if we're going to have an opinion about this and it's in our backyard, we should be notified. For this meeting, I got a notification. I want to get a notification for everything that goes forward.
It's 300 feet,
Because
right?
it's apparently going to be going
No,
rapidly.
it is 300?
I don't know.
always
I don't know
call
if
the town
that's
planning department.
applicable to the law, but be
So
here-
what's the difference between the covenant and a law then? Explain to
law-
me. I'm a
law is
layperson.
statute and
In
passed-
layman's terms,
a law.
please.
It's a local law passed by the town board.
Okay, so the
that-
local law says that the people that are going to be affected should have a say in what is going
Okay,
on.
could you
It seems to me that
briefly
it's no
explain the
longer
notification
dormant.
process?
The-
You'll hear from our director.
The notice requirement for this board requires that the applicant post the property and I believe send the letters to everybody, owners of record within 200 feet of the exterior limits of the property. They submitted an affidavit where they're swearing that they complied with that requirement. The previous meeting that the county had doesn't have a similar notice requirement. The meeting on January, I think the 3rd, but early January, I'm not sure what the county's requirements are, but I don't believe they have any written notice or posting requirement. that there be signs up on the property. After tonight, the notice is right now. If the board adjourns it, everybody here is notified when the hearing will be reopened.
Everybody that's here.
That's correct. There is no notice requirement once the hearing starts. If the town board has a hearing, that written notice, a notice in the legal notice in the newspaper, and the posting of the property would happen again as well. I'm not sure, the town board, I guess, is likely to hear it, even if the special exception is withdrawn. But in any event, the continuation of this hearing, the notice is tonight, if the board votes to adjourn it. And any hearing that the town board might have requires those 3 forms of notice: the signs, the certified mail, and the notice in the newspaper.
Okay, so we have a one more, okay.
Hi, my name is Don Siren. I live at 465 Gibbs Pond Road. The applicant has been asking for a small change in one of the covenants, and he's saying that he wants to just remove single-family dwelling from that covenant. And he gives an example of a church. Now, a church is a wonderful example. I'm wondering what the other R15 zoning options are. And by the way, a church is a wonderful thing unless you're trying to get onto Gibbs Pond Road or whatever street that is on a Sunday morning when they're having service letting out, or classes in the evenings, or what have you. So that's going to be additional traffic as well.
Is that something to be considered? I mean, churches do have crowds on Sunday. They have events and activities, so.
But not specifically a church. What other options are there in an R15 zoning?
Mr. Flynn?
From memory, schools, ambulance and fire stations, cemeteries, agriculture. Those are the only ones I can remember right now.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adjourn the meeting to adjourn this hearing to the March 2nd meeting. Do I have a second?
The next meeting coming
The
up.
next meeting.
Second the motion to adjourn this matter to the March 2nd, 2016 meeting of this board.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. This is adjourned until March 2nd, 8 p.m. here in this room. You're welcome.
Thank you for your courtesy. Appreciate being here.
Thank you for coming out.
We'll be back.
Good.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
I'll get the minutes.
Yes. In other matters, we have adoption of the minutes of February 3rd, 2016. Do I have a motion to approve the
I move that we
minutes?
adopt the minutes of the February 3rd, 2016 meeting of this board.
Second by Mrs. DeSorby. The minutes, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carried. Any other business before the board?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to
I
adjourn.
second that.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.